With the release of Season 2, Scout finally got some build diversity with the brand new secondary, the BOLTSHARK. A weapon which has shot some life into what was the dullest secondary slot in the entire game. So it got me thinking, was giving Scout a lackluster way of applying status effects all it took to make his combat interesting again? Yeah, it was. So let's get into this. What does this weapon do that Scout's other weapons can't? Well, the BOLTSHARK's whole shtick is applying debuffs to enemies. It can apply electric, fire, ice, pheromone, kinda neurotoxin, and technically stun and fear. Some of these bolts are pretty bad right now. The ice and electric bolts in particular aren't very good. But oh my god, some of these bolts work so well in Scout's kit, it's ridiculous. The standard bolts, while numbers-wise are nothing extraordinary, they open up this video's word of the day, options. They give you the ability to cover your long range, which is weirdly something that Scout was lacking before now. Yeah, there's the M1000, but charge shots are for bozos, and you can't convince me otherwise. Before now, Scout's ranged option in the secondary slot was, what, shaped shells? So yeah, there was basically nothing. And with Scout's primary meta being Bullets of Mercy, the Drac being a projectile weapon, and Hipster being what most people are using for the M1000, Scout has missed a solid long-ranged option for so long. And while I don't think the base bolts completely solve this problem, I do think they help circumvent a big issue in Scout's strongest loadouts. And now at least give you the option to spec fully into close range with the Boomstick and the Zukovs, or cover a ranged weakness with the BOLTSHARK. Also, you get them basically for free since they come bundled in with the special bolts. Some of these bolts are amazing. Pheromone bolts in particular are so damn good. I know this paragraph made it sound like I was going to talk about all the bolts as a whole, but seriously, Pheromone bolts are so good I can't not talk about them first. These bolts let Scout funnel bugs so effectively it feels almost like cheating. I don't know what it is about the pheromone buffs in Season 2, but right now, bugs are getting attracted to pheromone targets from so far away, it feels like you can split entire fights in half. This effectively gives your team more breathing room, or just turns Scout's biggest weakness, grunts, into a big ball of enemies just waiting to be blasted by your team. All for the cost of one bolt! It's unbelievable how ammo efficient these are. And you get 12 of them, and they last 10 seconds. And that's without a build that makes them better. With the tier 5 mod Potent Special Bolts and the Overclock the Specialist equipped, you get 15 bolts, and they last 16 seconds each! 16 seconds! These bolts alone turn Scout from, I better kill the web spitters this swarm, to allowing your entire team to save ammo through grouping up huge waves of grunts, just by shooting a guard, or even better, a Praetorian, with one of your 15 bolts! Every single one of your teammates are benefiting from having the bugs bunched up. Speed and ammo is the name of the game in Deep Rock, and the pheromones are helping with both of them. But that's just for group play, right? So far this weapon's looking like a team-oriented gun that has no use for solo scouts. Nah, this gun's good at that too. Fire arrows and chemical explosive arrows are a solo scout's dream. We'll start with the chemical arrows since they're the easiest to understand. They make bugs explode on death, and it's like a big explosion too. Scout finally has crowd control. This blast nukes grunts and helps solo scouts so much with his ammo preservation. Take this clip. With or without the crossbow, I'm throwing an IFG in this situation, but the chemical bolts turn what would have been multiple clips of AR ammo and a few shotgun shots into a bolt, 3 AR shots, and a couple of cleanup shots. I do think IFGs are needed for this to ensure that bugs stay together, but I could make an entire video on why IFGs are the best grenade in the game, and why you should always use them. Fire arrows, on the other hand, need no setup. The way these arrows work is that they apply heat radius to any bug the arrow is shot into, heating up all the other bugs around it. The radius stays active even after the bug is dead, and seemingly sends bodies flying. So you can shoot the bug leading the swarm, the body will fly into the middle of the group, and bam, everything is on fire. And while fire isn't the best status effect on big targets, it obliterates grunts. I feel like this is a little more finicky than the chemical arrows, since sometimes the body just flies somewhere else, or the bugs don't go near the fire. But if you don't want to run IFGs and want a sometimes better option than the chemical arrows, the fire arrows are there too. This issue of it being finicky, however, might be completely solved by using the fire arrows and the pheromones. since you can use both of them at the same time, which you can't do with the chemical arrows. Only time will tell though, since I've not really had a chance to try this out, so I don't know, maybe it works. So where does all of this leave Scout's other secondaries? I don't know. To be completely honest, the season is still kind of new, and of course there's always chances for changes to be made and discoveries to be found by the community. But right now, I don't think they're in a great spot. The Boomstick in particular, its thing was chunking big targets, using blow-through rounds on grunts, and also applying fire to big targets. But as I said, fire isn't the best status on big targets, and the crossbow puts fire on grunts so much easier. And if that wasn't a big enough blow to the Boomstick, its blow-through rounds on grunts shtick is completely outclassed by using the Pheromone bolts and blow-through rounds on the M1000, which is what most people are using anyway in combination with Hipster. I really don't know what the Boomstick's meant to do right now outside of special powder shenanigans if you're into that. I guess there's an argument to be made that if you're running a focus shot M1000 build, then having close range blow-through could be useful. The only other thing I can think of is shooting oppressors. The crossbow actually deals a really weird damage type called Pierce, which Praetorians and oppressors have resistance to. Praetorians being 30% and oppressors being 50% resistance. Praetorians are kind of squishy enough anyway that you can just burst them down with your primary with the help of a debuff from the crossbow. But maybe, I suppose you want the Boomstick for shooting oppressors. But even then, are oppressors ending so many of your missions that you feel the need to take the Boomstick? I don't think so. The Zhukovs, however, I do think are in a better spot simply just due to cryo-minelets. This overclock has been a fantastic option for so long, and I can't see it going anywhere without some major nerfs. So the Zhukovs will always have that little pocket of relevancy to fall back on no matter what, but outside of that, I know I'm not a big Zhukov guy anyway, it's never really been my kind of thing, but I do know people tend to use them as a pocket primary weapon to help when their actual primary is more specialised or bad at controlling swarms. But, as I've said, the crossbow gives you the option to build either a much stronger primary or run a weaker primary with the knowledge that you'll always have bolts that can shred groups of grunts and swarmers. So I don't really know what the Zhukovs do either right now. I do honestly believe right now that the more time and practice the community gets with the BOLTSHARK, it's only going to get better and better. Right now, the Boomstick and the Zhukovs do have the ease of use factor. You know, you shoot them and they hurt stuff, and that probably is going to be a reason people use them in the future. But for players that are willing to put a little bit of time and effort into the crossbow, I think they'll open up a world of opportunities for the Scout that will make his meta get more and more exciting from here on out. And that's about it for what I think about the BOLTSHARK. I think it's really good, and I'd much rather see Scout's other weapons be brought up to its level of power and versatility than see the crossbow be brought down. But, yeah, this is the first time I've done a video like this, and it was fun to do, and I've already had some ideas for what I could do after. So, hopefully, there'll be some more stuff like this soon, but, you know, this is me, so this could be the last upload for 6 months. Only time will tell. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you around. Bye.
I'm gonna just zipline us straight down.
Okay. You bum! You absolute bum!
It's fine, I got one down, but... Actually funniest zipline in history.